यहाँ की ऐसी है फिजा, आरती और अजान से भरी है दुआ। नज़ारे हजारों हैं यहाँ, फिल्म सिटी और पैलेस फलकनुमा। गोलकुंडा किला है इतिहास का गवाह, हुसैन सागर से आती भीनी सी हवा। चार मीनार पर रहती हलचल है भाई, ईरानी चाय की चुस्की लेने कहाँ कहाँ से पब्लिक आई। कहीं लाट बाजार की चमकीली चूड़ियों की है खनक, और कहीं है मोती और हीरो के हार की दमक। चांद बिस्किट, हलीम, बिरयानी और खुबानी का मीठा है यहाँ की शान। मुकम्मल नहीं है आपका सफर जनाब अगर आप इनसे रहे अनजान। निजामों के शहर हैदराबाद का आप सभी को सलाम।
Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the third session hosted by the Hyderabad Chapter of Asian Literary Society, a society that was formed in 2017 with the aim of promoting Asian art, culture, and literature. And taking that initiative forward, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our guest to you. She is a renowned artist, and he is on his way to becoming one. Please join me in welcoming Trupti Joshi and Paarth Joshi. Good evening, Trupti. Good evening, Path. How are you?
Good evening,
Good evening.
Shweta.
It is so nice to have you here with us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
So I'm really looking forward to our conversation. But before we get into that, I think it is important that we take a look at your body of work and the awards and the accolades that you have won. So let's play that video first.
So,
Sorel, can you cue that video for us, please?
Artist currently residing in Vadodara. Her journey as an artist is a reflection of her journey as a woman. The subjects of her paintings range from tribal artwork and the Chapel series done during her college days, the Graceful Goddess series where she painted the classic and vintage Rolls-Royce cars when she came to Mumbai. This was also a period of transition for the young mother, and her inspiration for still life were the everyday objects she used. But all this was ultimately preparing her for her current series, Second.
Sorry, my bad. I think the video was not visible correctly. And once we are able to cue it again, and we will try to show you the video again so that you can understand the kind of work both Path and Trupti have done. Uh, so let's get down to our conversation now. What I wanted to know is, Trupti, when we were studying, engineering, being a doctor, teacher, or civil services were the main professions that we had. Nobody would take art very seriously, and especially as a profession. So, how did you end up choosing art as a profession for yourself?
first of all, I would like to thank Asian Literary Society for inviting us for such a beautiful session for the introduction of a different profession here.
The gift.
I think some, yeah. Can you hear me now and see me?
Yes, I can. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Asian Literary Society for inviting us for a wonderful session with you through Hyderabad chapter. Um, as you asked me how I started, or so I was interested in arts from my childhood. My earlier, according to our talks, you must have been understood that my aunt and my mom encouraged me towards arts. They used to take me to art gallery. It was only one art gallery over there in Indore. And the thing I would like to say that I am born and brought up in Indore. I have done my college from Indore Finance College. and that's how I started. I have interest in arts from my childhood. My mother and my abua used to take me to the art gallery over there, and I have seen in my young age I have seen the exhibitions over there, and I was fascinated toward the colors they use and how they use the textures and colors differently in the artworks.
So basically, it was at your home that you were encouraged to do all that.
Yes, very
Sonal,
much.
if the video is ready, we would love to see that, and then we'll proceed for our next.
Currently residing in Vadodara. Her journey as an artist is a reflection of her journey as a woman. The subjects of her paintings range from tribal artwork and the Chapel series done during her college days, the Graceful Goddess series where she painted the classic and vintage Rolls-Royce cars when she came to Mumbai. This was also a period of transition for the young mother, and her inspiration for still life were the everyday objects she used. But all this was ultimately preparing her for her current series, Second Self, where shadows play a pivotal role. Her paintings are an amalgamation of her poetic imagination, her inner strength and beliefs, brought to life by her bold use of colors and textures and brilliant strokes. Paarth Joshi is an up and coming artist, and even at the tender age of 15, he has already won many accolades and awards. He won the first place in the Comivic International Comic Making Competition, Eminent Artist Award for Online Art Competition Art Corona Season 1, Award for Best Photography in the short film Baroda Prince for Intact's Film It India Project 2018, and many more. He has worked on still life, portraits, mythological sketches and paintings, photography, concept art, and idol making using terracotta clay. He is experimenting with different mediums and different art forms in exploring his signature style. But what is common in all his work is the innocence and inquisitiveness of a young mind who finds inspiration in everything that surrounds him.
So, as I was saying, that is an incredible body of work, Trupti, that you have been able to complete in these 15 years and will continue for many more years. And Path, the number of awards you have won is just awesome. And,
Thank you so
this
much.
is just the beginning. And I'm sure there'll be many, many such awards in your future. So
Thank
Thank
what
you
you.
I
so
wanted to know,
much.
like your mom was saying, she had encouragement at home, and that is how she was able to pursue art. And same is with you. You were born in a family where your mother and father both painted, and you grew up around brushes and colors and paints and easels all your life. So perhaps painting comes to you naturally. But have you ever thought about anything else apart from painting, or that is what you want to do?
Till now, painting is all that I wanted to do and all I had explored. But right now, in due course, I had realized that there are many more courses other than painting and in art. Like there are performing arts, there is designing, and even in designing, there are other streams. So till now, I had not explored all of them, but now I'm starting to get to know all of them. So I'm very excited to try, and maybe I don't know where the road will take me.
That is very understandable. You are just 15 and you explored your painting, which came naturally to you, and you want to explore other fields. So that is very, very natural. But also tell me, Path, you are in 10th standard, and 10th standard is very demanding, as we all know, with board exams and all. And with the kind of work that you do, we see, that also takes a lot of time. So, how do you balance this, your school work and your artwork? How do you maintain a balance between them?
In When they were normal days, I used to come back from school and do the homework and then just rush into the drawings. But now in lockdown, so during online school, I attend the school and side by side I do the homework that is being given simultaneously. Then I have plenty of time to work. And in the normal days, I used to prioritize my work, that if there's a competition about drawing, I used to do that first, cut off on some playing time, and then go back again at night to play.
Okay, so that required a lot of focus, a lot of perseverance
Yeah,
on your part, a lot of patience and to that. So that is so
yeah,
incredible to see in somebody who's so young, and to have that kind of focus. Trupti, that must make you really happy that he's so sorted in
Yes.
his in his
Yes,
balance.
yes.
So tell me
Yes.
something. Path is so gifted, and I'm sure, there are a lot of children and even young people who are very gifted in painting. But I want to understand, how does having a formal training, or doing the academics of arts, as we say, how does that help a person, a student, in bettering their art, or should they, like somebody who's like Path, who's very talented, do they not need to have formal education in this, or should they pursue it, and what's the benefit of that?
Uh, See, in I would say any profession needs a proper academic sessions. It helps us open our eyes differently. We in arts we see we see picture, not like if we are into art and any art gallery or looking at any artwork, the way we see that artwork is different, and the common person or any random person who is there to visit the gallery or just to see what they have made, their perception of looking at that work is very different. So the
Correct.
perception to understand the artwork develops with the academic practice.
Hmm.
It helps a lot, and it applies in any of the profession, I would say, not only in
Correct.
arts but in any profession.
Correct. I think as even as writers, when we write for online platforms and times, we are given a prompt, and then you see that I have written a particular story in a certain way, or a poem in a certain way, and there are 15 other people who have interpreted the same thing in a different way.
Yes.
So it sort of widens our perspective of it.
Yes.
So that is really really, it kind of deepens your experience, enriches you.
Yes, because
So
it is said that to understand even our own lives, we have to travel a lot. So, at the young age, it is not possible that we will start traveling from the our young age. So, when you enter in the college or some academic practice sessions, you
okay.
see a single topic or single artwork, like just a simple, as an example, I would say, if there is a still life kept or arranged in the classroom, all of the 25 students would paint it differently. The application of colors, the use of amount of colors, the color percentage what they are using, or watercolor or oil or acrylic or any other. Like I used to paint still life with these screen printing colors because I
Okay.
loved that texture, and it dries very fast, so I can work again on those artworks. So that's how you learn. I mean, academics, I according to me, academics plays a very important role in any of the profession.
So it basically widens your scope, as we said, and it gives you
Yes.
an perspective and about other people also. And when you look at other people's work, it may inspire you also in certain ways that you never thought of. So, Path, tell me, what is it that inspires you?
everything that surrounds me and is around me, it's like when I'm drawing, it's even an eraser or a pencil, it inspires me to create something.
Okay, so when you look at it, what do you think? I mean, how do you depict it in your painting or your sketch? What's your thought
Like
process behind it?
yeah, like you said, I also do concept art. So
Yes.
if I'm making a concept art of a pencil, I can make a character out of it. I just look at it, make a 3D model in my head, and think like, how is it gonna look? But the end product is totally different from what I thought.
But it is still brilliant and beautiful.
Yeah.
Trup- Trupti, what inspires you?
It is the same for any of the artists, I would say. Everything starting from the simple, small pebble or stone or any person around you or any color, any object can inspire you. For me, my as I'm grown up in a very big family, a huge family, you can say, more than 10 people in one place in one house, and we have many big utensils and everything. So I used to think about because my grandparents, great grandparents, great grandmother's name was engraved in those
Utensils,
utensils,
yes.
old utensils. So I used to imagine those stories कि okay कैसे खरीदा होगा, and how did they used to manage to use it, because those were the
Yes.
huge ones, and
Yes.
at that time brass and copper and metal wala utensils were there.
This is why use.
So I
Yes.
always get fascinated towards it, and that's how my still life wala series started. Earlier
Yeah.
I
So
used
that,
to paint slippers, which
yes.
actually according to some understanding people, is the most easiest way to look at their shoes, right? The footwear they
Yes.
use,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How they
I was
are
about,
wearing their their
slippers
footwear.
tells us how
So
they are actually. Yes. How
yes,
they treat their slippers
so
tells us a
yes,
lot about the
you
person they are.
so that one liner fascinated me at that time when I was in college and I started painting slippers as still life, not as an object, but yeah, as
I
a
was
painting.
I was going to ask you that, what inspired you to paint chappals? Especially there's one which says, guest at our house.
Yes,
There was a painting that was titled such. Such a beautiful thought to see. There are different little chappals, outside your house, which tells you कि
yes,
घर भरा हुआ है. There are people in this house. There's
yes,
warmth in this house, and such a different way of showing it. Just by depicting that there are 10, 15, 5 pairs of chappals outside your house, you can show that ये घर भरा हुआ है. There are people coming in
yeah,
there, feeling the warmth of the house. That is such a sweet,
yes.
sweet thought about that. So, how did you make the transitions from making those chappals to the Rolls Royce? That's a big jump. So, how did you do that?
No,
And they're called
the
Graceful
chappal
Goddess
series.
also, which is a
Yes,
beautiful name for them. So, how did you come to that
yes. Actually, Chappal was my sessional work, what we used to submit in the college. Right,
college?
so we have to select some objects or any topic on which we have to make our artworks and submit some number of sheets on those
For
topic
that?
in fourth year, third year, and fourth year. So I have to select, and as I said that I love still life. I love pots, objects, everything. I don't like to paint nature or portrait, though I like portrait very much, and I painted it well. But still, I somehow I like the subject chappal, because at that time nobody was painting
Painting those.
chappal as a subject in that my college.
Ye-
So I started with it, and for this Rolls Royce series, when I shifted to Mumbai, at that time Paarth was very young, very like 5 6 years old kiddo. So he was fond of collecting those Hot Wheels cars. So he has all the models of different cars. But when I used to play with him, I thought, though I am fascinated towards the vintage things, you can see. So I thought ki I would paint a car for him for his room. And then I thought, what should I paint? What should I paint? And I thought ki I should paint something exclusive, which is completely
oh, wow.
handmade and made to order kind of. It's like that. So I've gone through the making of different cars. Maybe it's a Ferrari or Ford or whatever companies
Wow.
are there, and I found out that Rolls Royce is one of the best handmade cars till now. Till
My God,
before
handmade.
some of the years, I think it was assembled by hand only,
Oh, wow. See, we
entire
didn't know that.
interior, everything.
Oh,
Even
my God.
in earlier times, the ornate, which is on the bonnet, that goddess, it is
The
there.
goddess, yeah.
That is why it is called graceful goddess.
Graceful goddess. Oh.
Yes, yes. So that is also
So,
used to be hand carved earlier.
oh,
One artisan is there who can only who is only
do.
polishing that on it. One is polishing the entire leather seat covers and everything. One person is like perfect in making the dashboards. So there are people over there who are actually working for making it 100% handmade car. Yeah,
Wow. So
it's
your
like
love
that.
for handmade and your vintage
Yes,
love has,
yes,
translated into your series, The
yes,
Graceful
yes,
Goddess. That is so
yes.
amazing. See, this is what is so inspiring to know what has prompted somebody to, do that thing. Which also I want to understand is like you had mentioned in our previous conversation, your the current series that you're doing, the second self series, it is a still life which you like, but it has shadows in it. And
Yes.
there was something very beautiful you had said to me. I would love for you to tell my audience the thought behind those shadows, please, Trupti.
Again, I would say I am in love with still lifes. I love the potteries. I love metal pots, daily use utensils. I love them.
Yes,
And if it is a vintage one, then I'm going to die for
even more.
it. That's it. I still have those handas, my dadi's old cooker, and that water bottle my dadaji used to take to the office, and it's so heavy. So that all things came together, and I thought that when I see those things, I actually travel back to that time when I used to talk with my grandparents. Right, though I
That
have never met my grandfather, but my dadi
Oh,
was there always. So my nani, dadi, I used to. Everybody has their own that this stuff, na. That in marriage
yes,
they are
in the marriage you'll
getting
get
the
them. You
entire kitchen thing. So those stories very much fascinate me. And the shadows, what you're talking about, it is the shadow added in my work in this pandemic time,
Okay.
when everything was closed. And that time I thought that I have different qualities also, rather than taking care of my family or just painting or making my house look good or like that. But there are so many qualities that we have, because in pandemic
Correct.
also we all observed that we have so many other things to do.
Yeah, we have
Right,
done new
till
things
now
which
we
we
were
had never
busy in
done
our
before.
daily life so much, and we
Correct.
explored. We actually tried to explore new things in these
Yes.
2 years. Right,
Yes, which
not
we have
only me,
never done
but i
before.
think i think most of the people in this world, I guess, they tried new things in this pandemic, and they
Yes.
find new ways to make themselves happy.
Mhm.
Right, and these shadows, I would say, these shadows are any, you can connect it with a woman or a man or anyone. These are our strengths. In my paintings, I
Oh.
see these are not the negative thing. Right, these are the
Because
positive qualities of ours, which are standing behind, always behind, standing behind us.
that is
We
so
don't
wonderful.
know, even the other people can't see it, but it is inside us, and these are like a back, a proper strong back of us.
Yes, they're
It's like that.
always there. They never leave us, and we
Yeah,
discover them in times of trying. When trying times come, we discover these strengths of ours. So in your paintings, the shadows are actually positive things. Generally, we
positive
associate shadow
sides
those with negative things.
with
That is such a
negativity.
beautiful thought, Trupti. That it's there at the back of us. We are like this, and our shadows are
Yes,
so big. So we should have faith in our strengths. We should discover them, and when the time comes, they come to our rescue. They're always there behind us. That is so beautiful.
and
When
one
you're
more
talking
thing,
about
why
this.
I am using the pots in it, it is because in Indian belief, our body is like a pot. It
Yes,
may
a
have
vessel, like we
different
say.
strengths, right?
Correct.
And
Yes.
shadows are always bigger in my painting, not the smaller ones.
Correct.
So your strengths are much bigger than what you ever thought for yourself.
That is so beautiful. Yes. So everybody who's feeling down or depressed, please look at these paintings by Trupti, Second Life. You will realize that you may be feeling this much, but believe in yourself that there is a shadow of strength behind you,
Yes,
which is
always
huge.
behind you.
And yes, it is there with you. Don't worry. You just have to discover it. That is all.
Yes,
That is so beautiful. So it is really
thank you.
interesting to understand, what inspires somebody to pick certain subjects, and paint them. Tell me, Parth, you have a wide variety of subjects that you have painted. How do you choose these
Yes,
subjects?
Basically, I've started to do academics only in last 2 years. So most of the works which you have shown are from my academic practices. But some of there are by like my choice. If I just wanted to do it by some feeling or I have a concept idea and I want to draw it, I just implement it on a paper. That's all I have.
Okay. Also, you had mentioned in one of our previous conversations that you carry a notebook and a sketchbook, I believe.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Actually, that notebook and my sketchbook is like my travel partner. Whatever I see, I just capture it in my sketchbook, and whatever I feel about it, I write it in my notebook. Or any
Oh.
concept idea, or any random idea which I have, I just write it in my notebook so I don't forget it after all.
Actually, that's a wonderful. That's something when we started writing, a lot of the senior writers would tell us this that when you go out or when you feel something, when you even an ad, a bird, a thing like an object, you guys, find them so fascinating that write down the feeling that is associated because sometimes we may take a picture of it, but we know that that emotion is lost to us. But when we are writing that emotion, that it stays with us and just get back to that idea later in the day or later in the month whenever you're looking for a
Yeah.
material to write and then it comes becomes useful to you. So it is a wonderful practice, and though I also did it in the beginning, I don't do it anymore, but it's a wonderful actually practice. It's really really inspiring to see that you are so dedicated that you carry these things with you at all times. And that is why it is not any surprise that you have these accolades coming you so many awards that you have won.
Yes.
Tell me, how do you handle, sometimes it gets to you, I've won so many things, मैंने इतना कुछ
Yes. Yes.
15 years में achieve कर लिया है. So how do you
Uh,
handle that? How do you stay grounded, Parth?
it has been in part of my academic training that I stay grounded because
Now don't laugh, Tati. He's sincere about it. He's a good child and he
Yes,
doesn't
yes,
boast.
he's
He's
quite
very
sincere.
humble
He's
about it.
quite sincere.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So let
he's
him say
quite
what he's
sincere.
so
wanting to say.
I have been trained, and also I've started to follow this that whatever accolades or achievements that I get, you celebrate it at that moment, celebrate to your fullest, and put it behind you and work towards your future endeavors. Because then you
Wow.
won't be distracted from your goal.
That is so deep and so wonderful, and I'm sure your mother has a little bit of input in that as well. Enjoy it while it is there, but don't let it go to your head. Keep it aside and keep working on your on your skills.
Yes.
So, tell me, which is the most memorable award or moment that you've had till now, Parth?
The most memorable award is Kerala Government Edmund Clint Award, which I
Just
got in.
before you proceed, Parth, just one second. Sonal, if you could just cue that painting for us so that people can understand better. And Parth, just explain this painting to us. Yes, please
Yeah,
continue.
sure. So this is the painting that I had made for that competition, and I had won the first award in that. This painting basically describes the whole of Kerala in it. So on top you can see Vasco da Gama here. So as we know that he discovered Kerala, most part of it, and the elephant is also there in it on a boat, and that boat is really famous for all the boat rowing competitions there. And
Correct.
inside the elephant you can see all of what I could cover, the coconut, the bananas, spices, the
Yes.
original Kathakali face, and as you can see I did some play with the eye and thing. The
Yes.
first eye is also adjoining to the elephant's eye, so it looks as one.
Wow. It is really beautiful and very detailed.
Thank you
So
so
tell us
much.
what happens once you once this won this award. Then what happened? Tell us the incident
um,
after that.
Yeah. So after I won the award, we were waiting. Ki, what is the prize? We didn't know it, but the high end level dream that I achieved, that I wanted to buy my parents a ticket to somewhere that I could take by my name. So that was fulfilled by this competition. I won a 7 day trip to Kerala,
Oh my God,
and
that's wonderful. Sonal, if you could just remove that, please, and if you could see Parth and Trupti. Thank you. Yeah, so you were saying you won a trip to Kerala, fully paid trip, and then
and we enjoyed a lot. Actually, we were like roaming mostly into the temples, seeing architecture about all of those. But deep inside, I was like, yes, finally I did it in the age of like 13. I was thinking that I would be able to do after like I'm 20, 25 or something, but it was covered at the age of 13. So yeah,
Yeah, no, that is really awesome that you had a beautiful dream to take your parents on a paid trip and then you went there. You know, when we were having this conversation, Tripti told me that the most interesting part was when you went to the hotel, you know, they asked for
Yes.
ये विशाल जोशी तृप्ति जोशी का reservation है, and they said no, no, नहीं है, but
No,
then they
no,
realized कि नहीं,
कोई
पार्थ
नहीं.
जोशी का reservation है. You are the winners of their
yes.
parents, his parents.
Yes.
So that was the most, such a sweet moment. I'm sure your mom and dad felt so proud at that moment कि हम पार्थ
Yes.
जोशी के parents के नाम से जाने जा रहे हैं. To be recognized as his parent was must have been a moment of immense pleasure and pride for
Yes.
them.
It's such a proud moment for us.
Trapti, tell us your most memorable moment in this painting journey of yours.
I would say my favorite moment is when Parth was born. For mom, as a mother, that would be the most memorable moment for us. But more than that, I'm so happy that he is also pursuing art very sincerely till now. And yeah, in any of the artists, we have that memorable moment is when somebody buys our artwork and give a wall for it. That would, and we have our solo shows. So
I'm
that
sure,
those are
yes.
the memorable moments for us.
So that also, I want to understand that there was a time when we used to say हमारे यहाँ थोड़ा disposable income है in India when you people started traveling and buying art. But then we had COVID, so the galleries closed and there weren't so many shows happening in the beginning when COVID had hit us. So has the art scene come back to itself now? Are people again, into buying arts? Having online shows, does that help you? How is the art scene now?
Art was always good for those who. I mean, time is always good for those who work, right? Me and my husband Vishal both believed in that, and by God
Okay.
grace, in pandemic also we didn't had any issues with the incomes regarding to arts because we were working all the time. When I was not working, he was working. When he was not working, I was working. So
Okay.
it was not like that. But yeah, the art scene was very tough in these 2 years for artists who like see everybody has a different uh, this thing experiences, but I
Yes.
think it is going to be on track again now
And these online
with.
exhibitions help you
Yes, online
because
exhibition always helps because
okay,
right now there is no other way to connect with the artist because earlier we used to travel a lot. We can visit another galleries and
exhibitions. Correct.
even gallery owners call us to meet the buyers and everyone. But right now the media, again social media, is playing a very wonderful role in it. Insta and Facebook and kind of these interviews so that people can
Interviews,
know
yes.
us. They
That is
know
the aim
about
of the
our work.
society, to promote
Yes,
the art and the culture that we have in our country, and
yes,
to understand and to connect with artists. Even for a normal person like me, I would have never had a chance to meet you guys had it not been for Asian Literary Society. So this is such a beautiful synergy where we
yes,
come together to promote it, for us to have a better understanding and for you to have more people who appreciate the work, I suppose.
yes. And
Trupti,
I think India is the country where talent is like wherever you step in, there is a talent. It's not
correct.
like we don't have artists or any literate people or people don't know anything. It's not like that. The only thing is that we need to reach them,
Correct, that's right.
right?
So also tell me, Trupti, that you have been here for 15 years in this field and Path is also, coming along under your tutelage. What is your advice to a person who wants to pursue it as a career, not as just a hobby, but as a career? What advice would you give that new person?
As I said, academics is the basic start for anyone to understand arts, right? Like when I was young, I used to think, okay, I have done pencil shading and watercolor and something, not all the craft and arts. So the craft and art is again different. Though craft comes in art, but it is different thing, right?
Yes.
And You need to understand the aspects of art, what mediums you can explore, uh, what how you have to use the mediums. It is very important. And second is how to manage your income through art,
Correct.
right? At the end of the
Because
day,
it's not
you
regular and fixed.
yeah, yeah, and it is an expensive profession, I would say.
We should. Yes.
We have to
Find the
invest a
colors,
lot
brushes,
in.
pals.
Yes, it's
Yes.
very expensive, very
Yes.
expensive. And when
Yes.
you start as a student, it's okay. For Parth, it is an advantage. It's a big advantage that he can use artist grade colors at home. But it is very difficult. Definitely, it is
For
very
everybody to
expensive
use that.
profession for everybody to
Yes.
use expensive art just to explore that medium. It is not
Correct.
possible, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I would say, and you need a lot of patience, a lot of patience, more than taking care of a baby. You need a lot of
Oh.
patience.
And that coming from you when you said your proud moment
Yes,
was having Parth, that means a lot. That says a
yes,
lot that,
yes,
it is so difficult.
yes,
So basically, academics is important and
yes,
persevering, doing hard work, which is essential for almost every art form. To be able to succeed, you need to give it your heart and soul. You have to persevere.
yes.
You may not succeed in the first time, second time, third time, but you can't give up on that dream.
And till now, so many people used to think that okay, और कुछ नहीं कर सकते तो artist बन गए. ऐसा नहीं है.
Correct.
It's not like
Huh.
that. We have to read a lot. We have to uh, talk to other artists, discuss about their works, discuss about our thoughts, because it is very difficult to put our own imagination or our thought process on
Hmm.
the any of the canvas. For us, canvas may be a clay or a poster color or a sheet or a canvas, whatever.
Correct.
Canvas is everything for us.
It's like your god. I can see one of the graceful goddesses at the backdrop
Yes,
also.
this is the
So
Graceful Goddess
beautiful.
series. Thank you.
As much as I would like to continue this conversation, we are governed by the clock. So it is telling me that we are nearing the end of our session. And before we end this session, I would like to thank each and everyone in the audience for joining us today and, sharing their comments with us. If you have any particular questions for Trupti or Path, then please leave them in the comments section and they will get back to you in a day or so. And as for me, I loved, having this session. My biggest takeaway is that art is beautiful, but it becomes absolutely more meaningful when we understand the thought that the artist has put into making that art. So next time when I'm visiting a gallery, I am sure to, look up that artist and have a conversation with them and try to understand what they were thinking when they painted that. As I'm sure that, any of us who have been in the session would do that. And before we wind up, I would like to thank Trupti and Path so much for joining us this evening. And from the entire team of Asian Literary Society, we wish you all the best in your future journey.
Thank you
Thank you
so much.
so much. We also loved the session very much, and we learned a lot from you also.
That is so kind of you to say.
we